All right. Do you want to introduce yourself? The lovely Mariah.
Did it start?
Yeah.
Oh,
You just
it says
started.
operator still.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah, for me, I'm on my phone though, so the phone thing might Oh, now it says live. There you go.
Yeah. It's been a long time since we've been on these reviews. I forget how we do them.
True.
Uh,
You forgot how to do them because we're missing 1/3 of us.
there was supposed to be four to begin with, but I mean, there's someone who owns these volumes, all of them, but has not read a single one. And there's someone,
True.
and there's someone else who just for months is still stuck in the third volume. So the fourth volume just came out. What happened last in the third volume was basically the start of high school for Punpun. It looks like, and then
Yeah.
it was all the Uncle Yuichi stuff, like what happened to
Uh,
him and his wife. Remember when he left?
uh,
When he ran away from home, and he was talking to the taxi driver guy. And it's also when Punpun slept with his wife, with his girlfriend at the time, I guess.
yeah, and that's
It's
when
when he
he
loses his
also.
virginity to the girl. It's when his
Her name's
mother,
Midori, right?
Midori, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Katie?
also it's the whole backstory, the Seki thing with him
Oh,
taking the,
Seki!
yeah, getting hired as a hitman by the random woman who like hated her
Ah.
ex. And yeah, Shimizu talking to the cult guy, and Seki just basically like thinking about. I think he dropped out of school or something. He was just like bumming
Yeah, he's a
around,
high school dropout, and
and yeah, and other than that, what else happened? Pum Pum goes on a date with that one girl he meets,
mm-hmm.
who like rejects him or whatever because he starts pushing too hard. He gets some nice hairstyle, and what else
Combed
happens?
hair, combed back, emo, poom poom.
Yeah, he has the emo hair. It's really cute, and the a lot of it, the second half is the backstory with the mom who was like dating she was the woman on the side of that like Miri guy, and she kept asking him if he like would leave his wife for her or something, and then getting
Yeah.
upset, and then she went in the hospital, and she meets that boy Poon Poon's age, and she gets a crush on him, and they have that whole huge thing where he like injures that girl or something by mistake, and he wants to tell her how she feels. He's afraid, and the mother pushes him, and then they make up, and then she basically goes back into the hospital and gets cancer or something, and then she dies, and then uh, Poon Poon goes with his friends to an art exhibit, which becomes important in this volume while he's meeting that girl, and he meets Sachi and like writes that stuff on her like signing sheet, that random thing. Okay, and then his mother dies, and that's basically how it ends. He finds out that the whole time his mother was writing the letters that his dad supposedly was sending.
I
So
cried.
really quickly, thought, did you cry in that part?
I cried.
Yeah,
When I found out she wrote it, I cried. I didn't cry for her death.
when she died.
Or not when
No,
she died.
when he found out right after. Yeah, because he finds out right after that. Like
Yeah,
he's cleaning out the
when
house. Yeah.
no when she's writing the last letter, listening to it, and then she like slips it in, and I was like, no.
Yeah. When I saw it, that was like one of the most memorable parts, like of the story when I first read it. Like the part that made me almost like actually shed tears. Like I always remember that part when you find out that it was the mom, because I saw the mom just the way Poon Poon saw her, I guess. Like she just seemed so inconsiderate the entire time, and that was like the one really
Yeah,
selfless thing that she did, and you don't
yeah.
find out until after she's dead. So
No,
it's
you
kind of like
find
a
out right before she's dead.
yeah, like pretty
It's
much
right
at the
before.
yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much at the end though, when you've already kind of like decided how you feel about her, and then there's this shift where it kind of like you have to kind of rethink
the
exactly.
backstory.
Yeah, the story about her and the young kid was interesting. Like, what did you think of that? Like, oh,
um,
it was kind of
I
weird. She
was,
had a crush on a guy her son's age. It was
I
very
was,
strange.
I was, I was sweating that something was actually gonna happen between it, but then the boy seemed so love struck over this other girl. I like calmed
Yeah.
down.
Like
Like,
physically
nah.
gonna happen, or
Yeah, I thought like she's gonna try to like push it, and for him to be like ew, and for him to be like, up, time to kill myself.
he thought he was gonna kill himself.
No, but I thought I could
Yeah,
see a scenario like that happening. It's like her trying to
yeah.
force it, and him being like, awkward.
I thought it was. I actually felt like I said, I from the beginning the mother just seemed selfish to me. Like I understood where she was coming from, but I had less sympathy
Yeah.
for her than the dad. But during this volume, like I really felt bad for her during that whole backstory when she was like when they showed the flashback of like how she just felt like she had kids too early or something, and she kept talking about how like she made all these mistakes and like she was just like this worthless person and she had all these regrets and like she didn't know how to be a mother. Like even when she had Punpun, like she just didn't know what to do, and she just kept running away from everything. And like it made me feel really bad how even though she was a parent, she seemed like still like a confused like teenage girl or something. Just overall, who just didn't know how to deal with like being an adult in that
Yeah,
whole
and getting like
scenario.
little crushes now.
Yeah. The fact that she got a little crush like that on this random boy in the hospital, it just felt like she was really confused and just like never grew up. But she like had this responsibility before she ever knew how to deal with responsibility at all. So it was really made me feel bad for her.
It
Even though
did.
I felt a lot of sympathy for her, even though I was still angry at the way she treated Pum Pum. But
I think
what
at this
else? What were you gonna say?
like Poon was like, I don't feel anything, like her
Yeah,
death didn't think I was like, bro.
yeah. He was like, even when she died, I couldn't cry or couldn't stop hating her and stuff. But but other than that, it's just the introduction of the cult. And what did you think about his date with that girl? Uh,
Ooh.
the
It's a
kind
little
of
fuzzy, but the ending, I like to use the meme a lot of her just looking so sassy at him. I remember
uh,
just
you're you're breaking up a little bit. Say that again.
should I leave for a second? Um, I I'm just thinking
Because this volume it shifted to like a lot of the a little bit of more of like the kid just more of a straightforward slice of life like in that volume like
yeah, this
a
one
lot of
was
the
more
artsier stuff like got toned down a little bit and
everything
these
was this one was
yeah
more this one was a quicker read.
yeah
For sure.
but all right, let's move on to the one we just read so
I
that's
can't remember the last one.
yeah but no I want to hear what you thought about I just want to hear what you thought about
I don't think
the
I liked
date.
her that much.
Wait, no, not that yet. The date with the girl in the previous volume, because like that was a
Yeah,
weird.
I don't.
To me, that
I
was a
thought it
weird
was super
reaction
awkward.
when he went out, like with that.
Yeah,
Like
it
it
was
was
like
just a weird. What was he trying to do exactly? Like
he was
just
trying to
replace
push.
Aiko?
I
Yeah, but
don't.
I mean like
Isn't that what he's?
emotionally. Like why
Isn't that
was
what he's always trying to do though?
maybe
Is
maybe
replacement Aiko's, and then she
yeah,
goes
because he
away.
pushed like he pushed so hard all of a sudden with that girl, and then she was like, "I'm not interested in this. Like leave me alone." And then she slapped him or something.
I
And
don't
she was just like,
know.
"Back off, dude."
He got like on top of her though. Like
Yeah, he was really like, come on, let's do. I think it's because he had sex. That's what it was. He had sex with his
yeah.
uncle's girlfriend, and he kept trying to like do it again, and it just was not happening.
Poor Poom
Cause,
Poom.
but yeah, I like the scene when he walks out after he has sex with her, and he's like, I couldn't. It's like Poom Poom felt like they. I don't remember how they wrote it in the version I read the original one, but in the official version, like it said something like he Poon Poon like felt like if he said a single word, like he would lose something that he felt in that moment or something. So he just stayed silent. Like when she said goodbye to him, because she said something like "I love you." Is he like walked out of the coffee shop after they slept together, and he just stayed like really quiet and was just like goodbye or something, and
Poom
just
Poom's
like
an
walked
awkward
out.
individual
Yeah. Well,
though.
yeah. All right. That comes into play in the next book, which is that starts out with the uncle again, right? Like him and his
Yeah.
dad meet up,
Oh man,
and his dad
rejected.
asks him. His dad asked him to come move in with him.
He didn't even like address. He never like took the time to address the mother's death, which was awkward.
The dad or Punpun?
The dad with Punpun, like I don't know, like, he just kept pretending to be like good old dad, and the fact that Punpun like knew that he never wrote those letters, so it was literally just a random pop back. It was, oh, you know what? Maybe you should come back into my life, and Punpun was like, no.
Yeah.
I felt really bad. I mean, I didn't really feel bad because like that should be expected, but that was just awkward. Like, I didn't
For the
think
dad or for Punpun?
for the dad. I mean, that was just awkward to get rejected in front of like the uncle
Yeah.
and
Yeah, because he kind of asked him publicly, like, "Do you want to move back in with me?" I think that was addressing to the mom's death. I think that's why he showed up,
yeah,
because the
I
mom was
know,
gone.
but
He didn't say anything, but I think that's why he came at the time he came, so that he could just like move in with the parent. But Punpun was like, nah, fam.
you
Like,
never like.
yeah.
He's like, I
It
want to live
was,
alone. That
yeah,
wasn't
that
even
was
like.
so dark.
It
Yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't even like. No, it was like I don't want any of you. It was like a
Yeah,
shot to
because
anyone in the
the
room.
Midori and Uncle Yuichi asked him like they
Yeah.
offered to let him move in with them too, and he's just like, no, I just want to live alone. Which was, yeah, it was pretty gloomy. I thought it was interesting too that he said it said like Punpun's dad was exactly the same, but Punpun realized like he couldn't see him the same way because he changed. So like as he got older, like his view of how he saw his father, it shifted like dramatically. Because his dad was acting like the same, like happy-go-lucky, friendly, goofy guy who's like,
But
"Hey, Pum Pum,
he
what's
could
up?"
see like
Yeah,
through it though now. So
yeah.
it was
Now
like
he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't a kid anymore, so he didn't. It wasn't like appealing to him. Like he didn't feel the comfort in it. I guess he felt before. Like he was just like,
yeah.
"Nah, this is an act. Like everything isn't okay. Like why is he acting like this?" So he kind of resented it more. But let's see what happened after that. And then there's a lot of scenes of Poom Poom being very, very isolated and just like
Poor
going. Like when I first read this, I think this is the part Andre was talking about too. When I first read that part where it's just chapter after chapter of him going to work alone, hanging out with that one annoying guy, and just like sitting on trains and watching empty crowds and just wandering the streets looking for Aiko, like it was really depressing. Like it felt so
I
like
thought he was gonna start sinking deeper than that. Like honestly, he sunk so hard, and I honestly like didn't know if he was gonna how long he was gonna stay for that. For I'm like glad he kind of creeps out of it by like the end because like Sachi like saves him
yeah, it
to the
was
point where he
yeah.
turns into a fucking pyramid.
Yeah,
Oh
like
my
I
god.
I remember like when I was reading some of these parts, like it was like during the summer or something, and I remember like sitting alone in the middle of the night and stuff, just reading these in my room, and then like reading chapter after chapter, Pum Pum like staring at blank TV. He's like eating these like ramen noodle cups, and it was so like it was like man, like I don't want to read this anymore. Like it felt so dark because I was like like
Yeah, after
I
you
felt the
stopped
weight of the situation. Like
after you stopped texting me, I was like, you know what? It's too late for this. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm
No,
gonna
there's
do
there's
something
there's one
else.
part where he's like it's like when Pum Pum decides that he's gonna kill himself. Like if he doesn't
Yeah,
find
2 years.
Aiko at a certain
I
point,
was
and
like,
when it got to
bro.
that point, I was like, bro, I was like, is that where this is going? I was like, he's like 18, and he's like, all right, time for suicide, and it's just like, oh, really, really, and yeah, it was kind of like that. I guess that was like adult life for him, like because like when you think back about where the story started, where it was way more lighthearted, and Poom Poom's life was kind of like more fun and optimistic, and now it's just like day in and day out of him doing the same kind of adult life things where he's just
Routine.
yeah he's just going to work and then coming home alone and listening to the neighbors have sex, and he's just all alone like sleeping on the floor, just like curled up in a ball like crying himself to sleep every night. It's like really
Yeah,
really
there's a point like halfway through the book where I was like, what is that Aiko thing? Was this a mirage? And she actually just wasn't there. I was starting
What
to like doubt.
Aiko in general, like as a
When
person?
he saw her as on the train station, I was
Yeah,
starting to
yeah,
doubt if that was a real scene, and he just like imagined it up.
yeah. It could very well have been like just
I was like,
him
bruh.
imagining that or something. Because he really went to a dark place, and like
I
I
mean,
thought, I felt like the guy that was his friend, like I didn't know if that was actually a person that he even knew or not at first,
I think
or
that's a
if he
guy
was just
from college or
imagining it.
high school. Like, wasn't it the same
Yeah.
guy who was like, the panties, and then all the girls like ran away when he was like, "You're a liar, you're stupid," or something.
Oh yeah.
That
But
was
I didn't
him.
know. I didn't know if he like created this imaginary friend because like that guy wasn't there for so long, and like no one else was
Yeah.
interacting with that guy. But then he went later on, like you can see that it's like an actual person because the way that guy spoke was so weird. Like I was like, is this dude really here? Like he just seemed completely random all the time. But
Unreliable narrator.
yeah, it it kind of seemed like that at first. But then we get to the main part of these chapters, which is him meeting Nanjo Sachi, which is it's like part of the reason I like this character, and I really like that character, and I guess you didn't, so we'll discuss that.
Whoa. How did Kevin see this character, number one? I'm
All right, well,
curious.
Kevin didn't like her or Aiko after some point. Like he likes her better than Aiko, but he doesn't like Nanjo Sachi either.
Whoa.
And
I love her.
okay,
She's
well,
my
I mean, like he doesn't like either of the girls because he
OTP.
blames. The thing is, the way Kevin sees the story is like he blames both of the girls for how unhappy Poon Poon is. Like he just doesn't. He Kevin felt like the story, which is, and this is really a really interesting take on it. He felt like the story overall is about like Poon Poon trying to like find his own identity as a person is how Kevin interpreted it, and he felt like both the girls' personalities were like too strong, and like they like he felt like they were like basically like
Overshadowing his like.
he felt like they were too overbearing and they were like controlling Poon Poon. And he felt like the reason Poon Poon doesn't look like a person is because it's meant to represent like his lack of self identity. And that yeah, it was a really interesting take on it. He felt like it was his lack of self identity, and he felt like having the girls in both girls influence his life so much. They were like their personalities were too overbearing, and Poon Poon couldn't be himself. And then and he felt like that's what the story was about.
Wow.
Like him trying to become like find his own identity and not be um like not be create his personality through like trying to please other people around him. Like that's what Kevin felt like it was about.
When he initially went into his like depression days, what I was thinking was that like Aiko was like actually his like life support at that point. Because if he
She
didn't
kind
have
of was, yeah.
if Aiko wasn't there, because like when you get depressed, like you go back to the last like happiest thing in your life, and even though he said like the mother thing didn't affect him, I guess it was a distraction to his unhappiness, like seeing her almost kind of like the way she was. Because afterwards, like Poon Poon totally slumped himself, despite it not
Yeah.
like affecting him. So when I saw so like he starts like, going to like Aiko and like finding her and like
Yeah, I
obsessing
don't.
over her back again because like he stopped and then one like I just in my brain that's how I
Yeah,
saw it.
because so much was happening in his life. I mean, with his
Yeah,
mother
it was like
dying and like
he
moving.
just went back to the
Yeah,
last happiest
I
thing and it
don't.
was Aiko, so she was like a
When he
lifeline
said it
almost.
didn't. Yeah, when he said it didn't affect him, I don't. I don't think that's like. I think that's like denial. I don't think. I definitely think it affected him, even if it just made him feel like cold on the
Yeah, of
inside.
course.
Even if it made him just feel like he was like drained emotionally and didn't feel anything, like that was an effect. I don't think it definitely affected him in some way. I mean, he
And
got
then
upset when he found the letters. But why do you think
when
he
he
became
what?
a triangle when he got the letter from his mom, and he found out that she was writing it and stuff? Like he was affected by it,
Bro,
even though
the
he said he didn't
triangle
care about
phrase.
her. Yeah,
The
why?
triangle
Why? All
phrase.
right, why do you think he became a
Oh
triangle?
my god.
It's
I
very
think that was the I honestly think that was like the sign of like him like finally like attempting to lock himself. Just like depression because he's
to
inside the
just
triangle.
be.
Like when he pops out of it, like
Yeah,
he's not
yeah.
the triangle. He's inside of it. It's like
Do you think
keeping
that's
him there.
his isolation and stuff? Or
Yeah, I
you
think
think
that was like I think that was him just like, nope, fuck you, world. Bye.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was really cool that like there were like scenes where there was a close up of this fucking triangle, and then there was no
Yeah.
face on it, and like I knew what emotion he was feeling.
Oh, really? Yeah, like I like when the triangle's drawn like really detailed during a serious scene
Yeah,
and stuff like that, and the times when it's drawn like a crayon, like really whimsical when it's like a goofy scene and stuff. Like,
yeah, it was
yeah,
cute. And when
it was
he
really interesting.
and then like I think there was like one scene where Sachi's sister comes up and she's like, "Hi, Poo Poo," and she's always like she's like kind of like she's drawing. She's like really fat and ugly, and his face
Yeah.
just looked like disgusted, even though he's like a pyramid. He's like, ugh.
Yeah.
And I actually no, I loved Sachi.
But
So
yeah, all right.
far, I'm in my OTP. Like fuck Aiko. Like this is like this is like the best, most positive thing that's happened to like Poon Poon in my eyes. It's the most active we've seen him in terms of like back to back like verbal conversation.
Yeah.
Um, she literally is the person who brought him like out of the fucking triangle. Like I honestly thought that was gonna go on for longer. Like I wasn't sure at first. I thought there was a point like when they were having the conversation. At first I just thought she was like a cool person, but then when she actually when he told her that he looked under her panties and then said he's like, yeah, I just wanted to look at your pubic hair, and she just took the W, and she took it as a W and like not as an L, and then I was like OTP. That's at that moment I was like, this is exactly like the kind of person Poon Poon needs in his life, is someone who's like more. I didn't like I know her like her goals as like a human being were really overbearing. I think I agree with Kevin in that aspect, but I think she was a relatively like she was also like a good balance of like I don't give a fuck. Like she had like a very like she like when Poo Poo freaked out like in it phased her, he was just like, oh, so you your boyfriend? She was like, calm yourself, and then he automatically calmed down. I thought they like kind of like
Balance
he's
each
like yeah
complement
they
each other
balanced
well.
yeah they did so far at least. I don't know
Yeah.
how long that's gonna last since
Yeah.
certain
Dude,
someone's gonna fuck them over.
yeah.
They're so cute though. I really do like
Yeah.
her.
When I saw these parts, like whenever I see the parts with them in the snow, like those scenes with no text with them, like having the snowball fight, like I get choked up because that was like that was literally out of the entire manga, maybe the happiest moment you've ever seen in Boom Boom's life, like this far.
Really?
Like it gets so
Oh yeah, so far,
well, I don't
yeah.
want to spoil anything.
I mean,
Yes, up until this point, to me that was like
yeah,
because I mean it starts out with his parents like like splitting up,
fighting,
and then
yeah.
him chasing after Aiko. Like I guess you could consider Aiko
It
a
was.
happy moment,
I
but
told you, like, I texted you, like, I'm like, dude, like, I couldn't believe that he was this happy. I was like, what
yeah.
is happening? I was like, his life is actually good right now. Actually, when I told you my prediction, like, I told you I was gonna write something, like, PM something to myself, and I
Yeah.
told, like, actually at first I wrote that if they
What
didn't
was your
get
prediction?
my
Yeah.
prediction, it was in. I still believe this could possibly happen because Poon Poon's life just sucks. But I said if they didn't like officially get together or if they mutually didn't like fall in love, he was just gonna straight up rape her. That was like my honest I honestly thought that, and as a further prediction, I wouldn't be surprised if Poon Poon ends up raping someone or killing someone by the end of the
Yeah.
series. Like, I did not put it past me at this point.
Yeah,
When
well
this dude
there's
sinks, he sinks like to like fucking Titanic.
yeah, that's interesting. There've been some hints in this in these chapters that like when the neighbors would keep having sex, like he grabbed a knife and he was like, I'm just gonna kill them now, but then like someone interrupted him. So like
Oh,
it
was he referring to the neighbors? I thought he was referring to
yeah.
killing her.
Wait,
I
Sachi?
Yeah, I thought he was gonna kill her because he was like a jealous prick or something. I was confused.
No, there's one moment or like before he meets her when he gets like really he turns all black and he just like grabs a knife because they're making so much noise, and he's like, I'm gonna shut them up, and he's like, I'm gonna murder them right now. And then I think the landlord comes to the door, or Sachi, like one of them comes to the door.
No, Sachi comes to the door and says, "Hey,"
And
he talks about
yeah,
the cheating incident, because then he's like, "Oh," or she's like, "Why didn't you show
yeah,
up to like the
that was really
training,
fun. That
the
was really
fireworks?"
fun
And then
because he
he like,
stalks her. Yeah, when we
yeah,
had
no,
to
he
like
didn't stalk her. He tried to be cute because the landlord told him to be cute and do
meet
and
her
visit
at work,
work.
but then when he saw her with a
The
man, he
dude,
immediately
he
jumped to
got
a conclusion, like, and he was just
this.
like, "Oh, she
This
has a boy."
honestly seems like me in real life. Like honestly,
Yeah,
like just like the person explaining himself so like casually, and then just you just like you could see like on his face he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," like,
yeah, he felt really
and
embarrassed. Like it was awkward because
and
he got so yeah.
he walked behind her, and he was just like kind of like 10 steps behind her. She's like, "Are you
Yeah, he was really
is he
sheepish, like,
cute?"
because he felt so stupid because he did he completely jumped to
They
conclusions.
were
But
so cute.
yeah,
I
the thing is,
can't.
like, Sachi's character is maybe my favorite, or and definitely like to me, if not Pum Pum, to me she was like the most relatable character actually. Like her personality, like I
For
really,
you?
yeah, I really like identified with her character a lot, and her attitude in general to me, like it,
Her
the
attitude
that
was
whole
sass.
her attitude was sassy, but like
Yeah.
the way she viewed people, like when she was saying how like she just has an attitude where like she has like a short temper for people who feel sorry for themselves too much. And she felt like she has that speech at the train station when like she's
Uh,
arguing with Pum Pum. Like I could relate to that a lot. And she has that speech where she explains to him like she used to be like him, and that's why she was kind of interested in him, but also frustrated by him because she doesn't like when people like are like fall into depression and don't want to do anything about it. And she implies like when you see the tear run down her face that like she says like you're lucky that I'm here for you because usually when people are that upset, like there's no one there for them. Because at one point she was in that situation, but she didn't have herself there. The way she's trying to like help Poon Poon like out of his depression, like she was on her own, and she implies that like that's why she's trying to help him so that he doesn't have to be in the same situation she was in. And like I thought that was like a really interesting subtle thing that the author did because he she doesn't literally say that, like he just implies it, and it makes sense.
yeah.
And it makes sense because like in a lot of like more over the top like manga and anime, like they have that trope where there's like a girl trying to save this like loser guy or whatever,
But
and
it's just for absolutely no
yeah,
apparent
it's
reason.
for no
Yeah.
realistic reason. It's just like, and it's not a girl like Sachi. It's like this cute, perfect like maid girl, and
It's this
like
really loser, stupid guy.
yeah, and it makes a lot more sense that like the way it's presented here, and the fact that she's not like this perfect, you know, like I mean she's attractive, but she's not like meant to be this
Yeah,
super
she's
perfect
not.
housewife. Like she has all these flaws that turn people off when he first meets her. Like Aiko is more like that ideal of like this perfect anime girl or whatever,
Is she?
and
Bruh.
in some ways,
She
physically
when
she
you
is.
when you
Physically she
when you
definitely is.
look at her, she is. But
Yeah, from a distance,
I yeah, from a
because
distance, yeah.
remember at the beginning they said that Aiko tries to put on this act in public to be like this perfect
Yeah,
girl, so like
but
she
not in
presents herself
reality.
that way. Yeah, when you she's obviously messed up, like when you when Puma got to know her, but from a distance she looks like that perfect, like this beautiful, like perfect wife or whatever.
Yeah,
But
I like her
Sachi's
better. She's more
clearly
realistic.
more trouble. Yeah, she's clearly more trouble and relatable and flawed, and she has a lot of like she has a lot of like flaws that like charming flaws, like the sassiness and the fact that like she was more crass, like with Pum Pum. Like she was like, "Oh, you look like my panties." Like she's like, "That's no sweat off my back." Like she's like, "You want to see them again?" And then he makes a face, and she's like, "I was just kidding. I was just kidding, stupid." And she like hits him and stuff. Like all that stuff was like funny. That she's like getting drunk and like sleeping in his bed, so he has to sleep on the floor and stuff like that.
When
I,
she said when she mentioned the plastic surgery, I like choked for a second. Cause like
yeah, that came out
like
of nowhere.
yeah,
It was
it
just
was
like
the
what?
end of the chapter. I was like, this better not be some Aiko shit. Cause like I'm like,
Yeah.
that's like too much of a leap for a series like this. But like
Yeah.
I choked. I was like,
Wait, you thought she was gonna be Aiko?
I don't know, man, but it was just like. By the way, this isn't how my. She basically said like I altered my
Yeah.
whole face. I was like, I freaked out. And went, oh, speaking of Aiko though, in her, um, when she initially started dissing Aiko in front of him, I literally thought like Punpun was about to stab her. I literally thought, because he was still pyramid him, and he was like, stop it, and then he like yelled and like I really scratched out like text. He was like, I said stop it. I was like,
yeah, he got really
I
upset
thought
when she was pushing her.
the next page was just would be like slash like her dead
Yeah,
ass.
that was interesting too, because I think she has a speech. I know I don't remember how it was written in the original
Which
one, but I
one?
know she has a speech when they get in that argument, and she says like, I could, like, you're not actually trying hard enough to find
Oh yeah,
Aiko.
she's like, I could, yeah,
And
she
she's like, I
says
could find her
find
for
her in
you. Like,
3. She said I could find her in 3 days. Like, you just want.
yeah,
She's like, you're prolonging your death. She's
yeah.
like,
And then he
just
gets upset
die.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like,
She's
just
like,
die then. If you're just waiting to die, then die right
then
now. Like,
just
what are you
die.
prolong?
This is what
Yeah,
she said. I don't. He didn't even tell her that he wanted to kill himself, because he stays quiet, and she's like, you're not gonna tell me the reason.
yeah. Oh, but in that moment,
Yeah.
I think she understoed. Like, he didn't
Yeah,
want to
she
say it.
knew. Yeah,
She
she
knew what he
knew.
was planning on. Like, at that moment,
And then
that's why
she's
he
like,
got
then just
quiet.
die.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro. Like, she knew.
Mm,
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. OTP right here. Aiko's about to fuck it up so hard. And since it's also because it's been like, a few months from me
Yeah.
reading this, when I saw like Seiki, I literally like fangirl screamed when he was like
Yeah. Yeah, he looks so much older. He looks like this cool Hartha right now. Like, from the way he used to look when he was like a punk
No,
kid.
he was adorable when he was a punk kid, but it's that I hadn't seen him because I was actually like waiting for their
Oh,
like
for his
little side
appearance?
story
Yeah.
interruption.
Yeah.
Because it was so depressing. I was like, I just need a Seiki chapter right now, like something, something. This wasn't coming, and then they
Yeah.
finally appeared, and then they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
I
hi,
thought there was
Aiko."
more of it in this volume too, but it didn't come to like the very, very end. Like at that last like
No,
few pages. But
it's not gonna happen.
so
She's
yeah.
gonna fuck everything. I told myself that when they were going through the like snow scenes in winter, I told myself
Yeah.
there was only 2 things that was going to fuck it up. Either she randomly dies or Aiko comes back, and then Aiko came back, and I was like, I would rather her just die.
But yeah, what did you think of there's that time when I think it's after Poon Poon thinks she has a boyfriend or something like that. And yeah, she also has an ex-husband that she didn't mention to Poon Poon until like he found out about that guy. So like I did think it was like a little bit
Sketchy.
sketchy. Yeah, it was really sketchy that she was keeping the plastic surgery thing from him. She was keeping the fact that she had a husband from him. Like
I
there
thought the
were
plastic surgery thing was more sketchier than the ex-husband thing. Like
really.
it didn't know for her character. Like I don't know. Like I trust her so much, bro. Like it didn't scare me. I wasn't phased. I was like, this is Bae. Like whatever.
I wondered when I first read the thing about her having plastic surgery. I thought that was a really strange thing to mention in the story because we don't really see her very much before then. So like, what is the point of saying she had plastic surgery? Um, except, and the thing is, if you go back and reread the story, when they're in that factory, there is a girl with a drawing pad that they meet that is actually Nanjo Sachi, and I didn't realize it until the second time I
Wait,
read the
what?
series. Yeah, when they go to the factory when they're kids, they run into a girl who says like, "Stay out of the factory." Like,
Whoa,
there's a ghost.
really?
Yeah, and it's Sachi. It's Sachi when she's a kid. So, and she has like the same sketchbook and stuff like that. So but like you would never notice it because she's on like one page. Like there's a
Bruh.
random girl they bump into. Yeah, it was
I remember. No, I know
Sachi.
exactly who you're talking
Yeah, it's
about.
Sachi. It
Oh
looks
my
like it has the
god.
same birthmark on her face and the glasses and everything. But
No. No.
she looks like a fat little like dumpy kid though. Like she doesn't look like she looks like a like more like her sister, I guess.
For a person who like got like plastic surgery though, she still looks relatively normal. Like, what was the point of like altering her face?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think for me, either it's just to show
The new
that
beginning, like
it's just to cover up the fact that she doesn't look like her sister and she doesn't look like the original girl. Like you can tell it's her, but her face looks different. Like it looks like a prettier version, and maybe like it was to use that character again. But I think the main reason is to show like the type of person she is. I think that's what it's meant to represent. That like she like she's willing to like transform herself into who she wants to be. Because a lot of what she was saying, how like
she'll like do whatever it takes. Like
yeah, a lot of
literally.
what she was saying that was the difference between her and Pony Pony. Like she was saying that she'll not give up and like she'll keep like even if she keeps failing, she'll try and become the person she wants to be instead of like giving up and falling into like that sort of depression that Punpun was falling into.
I thought she was like the perfect like role model for Punpun though. Like not even like any girlfriend. Like she just like Punpun needed her and she was boosting him or is boosting him. But my biggest fear is like
she's gonna get killed or raped or.
No, not anymore. I honestly think that
she's gonna get cut by Echo.
Yeah, I think he'll question everything up until now because I don't think they're official or anything. I think they're in that like just mutual agreement.
I thought that was good too. Like the way the relationship was handled because it wasn't like
it's not official.
Yeah, they kept hanging out and people kept saying like you guys are good together. Like I like your girlfriend and stuff like that. And then they would just look at each other and not say anything, and it was so cute. and that to me just like it added a layer of like believability to like the way they're interacting because it seems like both Punpun and Sachi just Punpun still likes Aiko, so he just doesn't seem like he'd accept it right away.
Yeah.
It seems like if she asked him, he would say no. And she just seems like someone who's like too much of a free spirit to like officially just jump into something like that with him right away. So the fact that they kind of like slowly, very gradually just sort of like got to know each other and just kind of like dated without it being official, it just made it seem like believable enough for like their personalities that it would happen that way.
It does because like most people like aren't, but both of them definitely needed it. Punpun though like yeah, because like I'm pretty sure like didn't Punpun like after they slept together, she was like calm yourself, like don't freak out or anything. She's like
what happened was he told her before that when she gave him the speech. He said,
I'm falling for you.
He said, yeah, you need to stop being this nice to me. And he's like, you're cool and all that. And I know you're just nice because you're probably a nice person trying to look out for me. But he's like, if you keep doing this, I'm going to fall in love with you. And then she looked really she was just like, it's okay if you do. So she's basically saying like, kind of like she feels the same way or like she's fine with that. Like she's interested back basically is what she said. And it was really great. She was like, it's okay, you can fall in love with me. And then the thing is, after that, they go to the fireworks thing and then they sleep together. And right after that, Punpun's like, don't take it seriously, like we're not a couple. Like he basically rejects her after she's like kind of like into it, thinking they're a couple. He's like, all right, don't it was just like we're just sleeping together, like don't think too much about it. And you can see that he was like after they slept together, he sat up all night thinking about it. I guess having second thoughts, and then she says like, you still like that girl. She says you still like the other girl, right? And he basically kind of like says like, yeah, basically, or something like that. Like she just kind of accepts it. Like, I know you're not over that girl, so I'm not gonna push it. She's like, she says like, calm yourself. Like, don't, like, we don't have to be official or anything. Let's just leave things how they are.
We're so good for each other.
Yeah.
Sorry, like I'm just so angry she's gonna fuck it up. I know can we talk about that creepy ass religion for a second?
Yeah. The Pegasus cult.
Pegasus and Pussy Princess and what were the other
cheeseburger and all that stuff.
Ass cheeseburger or something?
Yeah.
Ass cheeks? Anyways. Interesting.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? That one guy from the cult was stalking Sachi. He was the one guy who was.
I don't like just like Seiki's story. Like I feel like I don't know. I've been like waiting for like all of these stories to kind of like clash with Punpun. Cause like so far like when stories like these like they usually don't really like full face on like intertwine with Punpun's. So. But they
the Seiki thing is like like they were friends when they were kids.
Yeah,
so.
Before, but they haven't yet to come back to like Punpun talking to them because like Punpun's gone through so many like friend groups and like none of them seem to stay. Like even the guy he's with right now isn't that memorable. It's just like some.
They were friends like at work. They went to school together and worked together, I guess. But
but
for his I think it was his last year of high school. And so like that was kind of
high school.
But at the end, he gets married to Sachi's sister. The fat one. So yeah, he gets married to her.
Oh.
And yeah, they kind of leave together. Like they keep going out. Yeah, there's a picture that says like
Yeah, the picture said
wedding
in
anniversary.
December. I didn't know that
Yeah,
was him though.
yeah, that's him. Like he gets married because remember when he first started hanging out with Sachi, like that guy came with him and like her sister was there and they were all hanging out together like at restaurants and stuff. So I guess they hit it off and they started dating because they got married in like a year.
I thought
So
Poon was gonna ask to marry Sachi that one time they were sitting down.
really,
Yeah, I thought he was
really,
just gonna ask just randomly. That sounds like Poon Poon would do. Poon Poon,
yeah.
like we finally see the first like quote unquote like illustration of him when she draws the portrait and then he
Yeah,
just
that was
stares at
interesting,
him.
right? Yeah,
I was like, girl. I
you
was
got to
like,
see how his face looks. What do you think?
yeah, I that's exactly how I
That was
imagined his hair, by the way. So I was really
really.
happy. Yeah, I imagined it. I told my because I was thinking about it. I was like, yo, if I ever drew like Poon Poon or like, something like
As a
redrew a
person,
scene as a
yeah,
person, like I in my mind like I do that thing where you can't see his eyes and his hair's probably like, droopy and shit because like they always mention how because when at first he had the slip back hair, then she cut it, and then he sees like
yeah.
that one high school student again, and she's like, "Oh wow, I like your hair short." So it's not like he's bald; it's just like a short hairstyle when he doesn't
Yeah.
have it. So it's
I
like,
didn't even
oh,
think
that
about that.
yeah, no, I took like a really like consideration into it because I'm like, bro, one day I'm gonna have to do fan art and I'm gonna have to think about this.
Yeah.
So I started like paying attention to any time like they mentioned his hairstyle and stuff. And like
Yeah.
when his hair was like combed back, that was him trying to be like an emo shit or whatever phase he went through. And I was like paying attention to his outfits. It's so cute, really cutie. But I'm sorry. But
He has a little track jacket on in the drawing.
yeah, you know.
Yeah, I also noticed there's like when he gets really frantic and starts flailing and he does this there's always like these panels where he like yells Aiko over and over again and it's like splattered paint and like just Aiko's name and exclamation mark like him screaming it in his head like in frustration when she's like slipping away from him he's always like Aiko and it's like an entire panel of just the word and this one was the first time he said he did that for someone else like when she's walking away at the train station and he turns back from the triangle into himself as she's like leaving and he chases after her. That's the only time he does that for someone. He screams like Nanjo as she's walking away. But it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I thought that was like really a really good touch. That was like
When
the
he
first
was
time he wanted someone else besides Aiko, I
and
guess, on that
he was in
level.
that like he's in the little Ica world that he always visits, and then like
Yeah,
she
yeah.
appears instead. I was like, let's
Yeah.
he starts buying porn that resembles her. I was like, bro, I'm not even mad.
Yeah, I also noticed a little panel that I didn't notice until this time I read it, where they like when he started hanging out with Sachi and then like going out to bars together or whatever, like more and more, and he's hanging out at her apartment and stuff. Like they show like images of him like when he's hanging out with her, and one of the images of like is that beach where he imagined him and Aiko or whatever. Like they keep showing in his mind, and then there's a panel with Aiko. She's like super far away, and she says like hey or something like with a question mark or she looks confused because she's like pulling farther and farther away from his mind because he's like focusing more and more on Nanjo Sachi. So like I thought that was a nice
Yeah,
obvious metaphor of like
isn't that?
he was actually kind of like thinking less and less about Aiko.
Yeah, yeah. This like a certain person we know said the monkey quote about how like you I honestly thought of it
Did
the
you really?
second yeah when they were at the beach that one like little world or beach whatever
Yeah,
when you see Aiko and literally Sachi just moves in and says hi instead like she's just waving like she's not
yeah,
like Aiko talks to him and the next panel he's like guess I don't need you anymore and then you see like Sachi just like hi like
yeah.
it's exactly
That he couldn't move on until he had
that
someone else. I
yeah
guess.
I was like bro.
Oh, there's this one scene too that I'm looking at right now where he when they're walking and they're talking about making manga together and like he has like the takoyaki balls on the ends of the stick and he goes to hand her one like he starts flailing and she's like being really serious like discussing the plans for how they're gonna write it and then he goes to hand her one like in an
Oh
anime
yeah,
or
she's
like and then
and
she
she
does this
eats
little
it.
cute smirk yeah she does this little cute slip but the thing is she doesn't smile like a video game anime girl where she's like oh hello like a happy smile she does this like sarcastic kind of like you're such a dork kind of like realistic girl look at him Like she does this like awkward like she thinks he's being kind of like awkward, but she's like, it's cute, so I'll just go along with it, kind of smile, and then she leans in and eats it for him. And I thought that was like really, really like sweet. And it's the entire page, like it's a whole spread of just her like.
Yeah, I know. Do you know when they were having sex and he still like actually thinks of Aiko, but like it doesn't like
Does he?
complete. Yeah, no.
Does
For a
he
second,
really?
she says, "Poon Poon, where's my kiss?" And then
Oh, he thought
he
of
has.
Aiko?
And then he has a moment where he thinks of when he gives Aiko his first kiss, but it
Oh
doesn't
yeah, I
like
remember that.
when he doesn't like let it fully control him. I was happy about that because for a second I was like, this dude better not stop halfway through. I was like, you better not pull
Oh,
that
is that
shit.
how? Yeah, is that how you interpret? Because yeah, when that scene happened, I took it as like him like his memories of her like going away in that moment.
I
But I
thought
guess
of
yeah,
it going away, but
it could be
I
him
thought of it
just
him
thinking
just
about
like
Aiko.
I don't know. He just always thinks about
Because
this
she's a
girl.
kid in that picture, so I think
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't take it as like him getting off to like kid Aiko. I thought he
No,
was
I
just
don't
like
think he was getting after her, but I was just like maybe he was having second doubts about it. Just gonna use
yeah.
tissue for it. I'm re-looking at this panel. So that's disgusting, bro. You need to chill.
Yeah. Uh,
Poom poom.
but yeah, I guess that it could be that too. Because the day like he stays up after they have sex when she's sleeping, just on the floor, and then he all of a sudden says like, "Yeah, you know, like we're not a couple," basically, which I thought was incredibly mean. But he was just like, "Yeah, we're not a couple," even though we just had sex. Like, don't take it too seriously.
Do you know that one troll face he always has?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I
The
like it.
statue one, or like,
Yeah, the one that
yeah,
looks like he has like one of those like masks on him.
yeah,
It's interesting.
yeah, that was funny.
It's so
But
weird.
yeah, he switched images a lot in this.
Yeah, he did. He
This
become
one.
more expressive. Like she's just better for him. Like let that Poon Poon go. Like
Yeah, he went through a
he's
lot of phases.
he
Did you think that she was cheating on him when you first saw the other
the
guy?
boy? No.
Yeah, the cool
I
guy.
either thought
Because he looked like her type. He looked like this super hipster Japanese dude.
she was like, because she didn't say like, "Hey, baby" or something like that. They kissed. Like I told you, I trust her. I wasn't sweating one bit. I was like,
Really?
my girl got it covered. Yeah, I really like. I didn't think she was doing anything.
I don't know. She puts out that too cool for school vibe. That like I wouldn't have been surprised if she like
By the
had
way, is
work.
this why Kevin says good vibes?
No, it's just a coincidence because Andre says good vibes only. Like because Andre's a
Oh
troll,
yeah,
so when he
yeah.
trolls
Okay,
people, he just says good vibes to like show like
okay.
just
Just
kidding. But
checking.
then he read Poon Poon and he thought it was like really ironic that this existed in there, and he had no idea because I thought that's why Andre said it was because he saw the Poon Poon like images somewhere. But he said no, it was just a coincidence.
Bro, because I was like, yo, I was like,
Yeah.
I thought something was gonna happen, and then the guy was just like, good vibrations, and then for just like
Yeah.
really dramatic scene before we was like, oh no.
Yeah.
And
But
it's
go ahead.
interesting. Like you know, Midori like is the one checking up on him, and like Uncle Yuichi kind of like back. You know, like they kind of fade after like a month or two of him living alone. Like at first, she's like checking up on him a lot,
Yeah.
and Poom Poom's just like, look at me, I got a new house, I'm really independent, blah blah blah. And then like
Yeah,
he's just like,
I assumed that he just kept ignoring everyone because he was really isolating himself. So like they kept offering to pay for things. Didn't they send him?
a
I think
phone,
she sent him.
a
Yeah, they sent
phone.
him like a phone, and I think that she sent him like a credit card or something. Was like just take it out of my account. Like they keep trying to take care of him. But he's really just
Well,
like
it's only Midori. Uncle Yuichi isn't mentioned after that one day when
you know
I really thought he was about to get Poon Poon addicted to smoking, and I was like, bro, like
when
he
he gave
doesn't
him the
need. Yeah,
cigarette.
I thought like he doesn't need this in his life, Yuichi. Like, please stop.
Yeah.
But he didn't, so I was glad.
There's still time. But yeah,
There he is.
there's only this is more than halfway done with the series, and there's a I think next volume is a gigantic plot twist that's gonna shift the entire series. But
No.
but yeah, I
Poon
don't
Poon,
know,
I'm
man.
pregnant. I'm just kidding.
I really like Sachi's character. I thought she was because after all that like darkness,
She was refreshing.
it felt to me like you said like she was saving him like from his life because like he was literally gonna kill himself, and then all of a sudden he had all this hope. He had a goal. He had a goal and a girlfriend and a reason to
like. And she did like shove her dream onto him. However,
yeah.
I think that's honestly what a guy like Poo Poo needs. Like, I feel like he almost like thrives off like other people's like happiness, and like he's like a mosquito, and he needs somebody there
Yeah.
to distract
It's a
him. Otherwise,
mosquito.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that's what he is. Though. Like his mother died, like and like after that, it was just like emptiness. It's like okay, like even if he didn't like his mom, like she was still there as a full distraction to him. And then like once she went away, that was that. And then he found somebody else. And at first he was like hesitant, but she was like super like pushy.
Do you
And
think
he,
do you think Sachi's character is manipulating him in any way like the way Aiko was, or like or taking
I
advantage?
in a way, yes, because she's pretty much just like taking his story, and then she's like making him write, and then she's the like person who draws. But I think the intention's more pure than Aiko. I honestly compared to Aiko, like I think Sachi is like a saint. Not in the fact that she's perfect,
Really?
yeah, but just
Really?
I don't know, cause like Aiko was like taking Poon Poon and like, but hers came off like 10 times more selfish because Poon Poon was like, yeah, like I'll throw my out like my life for you, like I'll do whatever you want, just as I can have you, and she's like, yeah, she's like I just need someone to run away with, and I don't know, like hers seemed like there's like mutual happiness between like Poon Poon and Sachi, and Aiko's seemed like it was gonna be like one sided, and Poon Poon was always gonna have to like worry about Aiko or like how she's feeling, and like Poon Poon himself isn't that strong of a person to be doing that, so it just seemed like they were gonna be they will or like they would have been in a very like unhealthy relationship because like I said, like he's a mosquito. Like whatever his girl's feeling, Poon Poon's gonna like kind of latch onto that feeling, and Aiko's way too depressing for a guy like Poon Poon. Like he needs somebody
Yeah,
who's just gonna like boss him around, which
that
is why
might
I
be
think
true.
Sachi like compliments him so well because she's like be happy. I think that's when the first time Lieutenant like says you guys should date because like he's like oh Poon Poon do you want a job here or something, he's like whatever, and then she's like Poon Poon and he's like I'll take it and then she's like and he's like damn like it's like that kind of shit, like you can tell
Yeah.
like he needs that in his life. He needs someone to like get him out of bed, and he said that himself. He's like waking up to a life of Sachi is like worth waking up for. Like he needs like a motivation that's like right in
Yeah,
front of him like all the
that's what I
time.
felt like. That's what I felt like the difference was between the two girls because they're clearly meant to be uh like there's meant to be like a dichotomy between the both of them. Like they're clearly meant to be kind of like at odds with each other, like their personalities and like what
Yeah,
they represent to Pum Pum. And I think like Aiko just seemed like she seems at this point at least that like if Pum Pum ends up with Aiko, it's more like a relationship where they'd be kind of like licking each other's wounds and depressed. Like they're just going to be depressed together. Whereas like Sachi seems like she wants to bring him out of depression and like
yeah.
improve things for him. So it's kind of
She
like yeah, it's kind of like feeling sorry for yourself or like trying to like work through your problems
because
because
like
she clearly had all these problems. She's like trying to work through them and she wants Pum Pum to do the same thing basically. But
it's
Aiko
like
just kind of like let's run away, let's be depressed together, let's run away.
yeah, it's like like I've never heard like Aiko like care about Poon Poon's feelings the way like Sachi has like ever so far. Like it's always like Aiko when she like talks about herself, and like when Sachi, it's always about like us and
Yeah.
they're
They're a
walking
team.
together. Yeah, they're a
Yeah.
team. They're walking together. They're writing this manga together. They're like happy together, and Aiko's just like I just need you to be there and just stand there and just it's just like ugh, it's like 10 times less attractive. Like Saichi just seems like she just wants like she's like always like in Poon Poon's eyes. It's like he's on like he's there's like a picture of like Sachi and he's on this like little hamster wheel. And he's like generating like his like life, just like looking at her and trying to keep up with her. But like
Yeah.
in Sachi's perspective, like she's like just like kind of like walking like always a little bit ahead of him, and he's just falling. She's like not walking too fast, but he's like always like kind of like in the back, just kind of like trying to keep up. and like I don't know, Aiko is just like nah, like it doesn't matter where we end up. Let's just be together. But it's kind of like, but why? Why Aiko? Like,
Yeah.
and like he's like, always gonna have this like really deep obsession with her, and like
Yeah.
he's been with Sachi for like a year now, or pretty
Yeah.
much it's been like over a
A
year.
years past.
At least, yeah, it's been
It's been a
full year
year
has
and a couple
passed, and
months.
a couple
Yeah.
months since they've been like a thing. I'm not sure if a year and a couple of months is like good enough to be like fucking Aiko.
Well, he's
God
loved
knows
Aiko
what.
his whole life, I guess.
Yeah, so I
Um,
don't. I'm already expecting that my OTP to like sync.
but yeah, there's this part where
It's gonna sync like
when they meet, when they're talking to the landlord, he's offering him the job, and his daughter comes in and she starts yelling at Pum Pum saying
oh,
like,
when
"This
she
is."
protects him.
Yeah, and then she at first Aiko like no, Sachi starts yelling at Pum Pum too, and then the landlord's daughter comes in and starts yelling at him, and then she defends him because she's like yelling at him, and she's like, "Don't yell at him!" Like only she can yell at
Oh,
him. So
it's
she
so
jumps up.
cute.
Yeah, it was really cute. It was really cute.
I can't like.
Yeah, she completely just snaps on the daughter. It was like
Yeah, when
screaming and
she
then
did that, that
stormed
was
out.
also another
Yeah.
OTP moment. I was like, I don't
She
think
was ready to fight him. Yeah, the landlord gets in between both of them because Sachi like pulled back her fist and was gonna like slug her. Like she.
yeah, she was already protective.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think. I think this is gonna be the happiest volume we ever see Poon Poon. Like, I don't think he's ever gonna be this happy. Like, I'm not even like.
You think something's gonna happen? Yeah, this entire volume
It's been too
basically
happy for
just
too long. It's been him
most of it was
healing and being happy.
yeah.
So now they're gonna like destroy his happiness again, especially
It
since
was him.
Aiko's
It was
back.
like a yeah, it was like a roller coaster. Like he was depressed, like he was almost at rock bottom, and then all of a sudden he had this slow rise with Sachi, and he's like at a peak right now. And you know
Yeah,
there's two more volumes, so something has to happen. But yeah, he's definitely at
yeah.
a peak where he's really,
I don't think
really.
he's gonna be this happy. I think something. Well, first of all, Aiko's is gonna make him like re-evaluate his whole situation.
You think he doesn't have a strong enough bond with Sachi at this point to
I think he
just kind of let it
does.
go?
No, I think if Aiko like goes out of her way to see him, it's going down. I think if he like randomly sees her at this point, I'm not. I think he'd like. I think it was just like a random thing up again. Whatever happens, I don't think Sachi is gonna like. I think Sachi will let whatever happens. I don't think she's gonna fight the situation at all. Unfortunately, I think she'll cry about it or she'll get upset, like low
Yeah,
key. But I don't think she has the personality to like fight for him, or the fact that she doesn't think she like deserves to. Like she's like, whatever, he made his choice. Like I have to respect it. Like or
yeah,
she'd like try to like just suck it up or like in front of him or some shit.
yeah. Like I
But
said,
like
we've seen her just like even when he said like
yeah,
we're not a couple, like she kind of handled it coolly and just kind of like accepted it and was just like, yeah, let's just do things the way they are. Like she basically kept agreeing to unofficially date him, even when he like rejected her. She was like, let's just stay the way we are. Like I'll just put up with it, kind of. And she kissed him after that in front
yeah,
of the vending machines. Like she is kind of like she kind of understands how like wishy-washy he's being, and the fact that he still has these lingering feelings for Aiko, and she's kind of like putting up with it. So,
yeah. She's like
but
good,
once
but
Aiko's actually there,
it's gonna
which
be a different
who knows?
story.
Who
I
knows
don't.
what'll happen?
I think he's either. I could see Poon Poon like honestly just like dipping her, like just not seeing her again. Like I
Dumping
know
Sachi?
this, yeah, or just like either just completely like depending on how they meet, but most definitely he's just gonna like ditch her and just like go for Aiko.
You think so?
Most definitely. I know that sounds like really bad, but it's definitely the highest
Yeah,
scenario.
I think
I
so.
like they finished the manga, so I don't know how like there's a possibility that she's always gonna be like if this thing gets published, of course she's gonna always have to have this like you know kind of relationship with her, like, even if it's like really far distance. But I think the dad's also gonna come back because like he honestly I thought he would have been more in this book, but he wasn't. It was kind
Yeah.
of weird.
Like
I
in
was
the
like,
story overall, or just these volumes because he popped up at the
yeah,
end.
this volume, I thought he was gonna
Yeah.
stay, like, but after he rejects him, he just disappears again. I thought that was really weird. So it just makes me feel like he's gonna appear again, just when Poon Poon needs him the most, almost. Because like I feel like that's when the dad's just there. But I just
yeah, something else that I thought was really interesting about this, because we get all these volumes where it's kind of like an expanded world with like all the friends and stuff like that, like Poon Poon's family and all his friends, and most of these chapters, besides the cult thing, it was kind of just Poon Poon and Sachi, and it was like mostly just them every single chapter, like their interactions, and I thought that was really a really good choice, because it really for me captured that feeling of like that kind of like having a close relationship with someone like that.
it
Like
became his world. Like
yeah, it's
literally,
like
even the
you're
manga
just
did.
yeah. It really like, as you're reading it, you feel that like intimacy between them. Like they're always together. Everything they're doing, whenever they're out with like Sachi has friends, but Funko really doesn't. So like you see that like he's only hanging out with other people when it's with her friends. Otherwise, like they're alone in her apartment. They're eating dinner together every night. Like they're walking in the park together. Like everything they do is like always together. And all you see of the story, like you don't shift to like his dad or like Uncle Luigi at all, or
Yeah.
anyone else. It's just those two, like really intimately, and like the moments they're sharing together, and that's all you see. And I feel like it really captured that like closeness that you feel like if you live with someone, or like if you date someone and you just see them like every other day and you spend all this time together, like you felt like the intimacy between those two characters like really well. And I think the way of like showing that over and over every chapter, I think it really
Yeah, it
captured
puts
that
you,
feeling. It puts you in the in Pum Pum's shoes, like you feel
which
how
is
he
why
feels.
it's
Like his
gonna hurt. Like
world revolves around Sachi right
it's gonna hurt
now.
like hell when he dips her in 2 seconds. All right, because that's what's happening. I literally cannot imagine like Poon Poon being strong enough for like
Why?
I.
It's just the one
It's
girl
just,
he liked when he was a kid. Because
bro.
it's been a while at this point. It's been a
It
while.
has, but it's Aiko's like his god. All
Yeah,
right,
that's true, man.
he's
Everybody has one.
like forget Tinkle Tinkle Hoy. Like that
Yeah.
literally turned into the
Oh yeah,
bond
the
between
god is gone,
Aiko.
except for one single like page in this volume too.
The
When it
god
starts to
is
go well with
gone.
Sachi, yeah, no, he says the one like he has the voice once. It starts to go well with Sachi, and the first time he spends the night over her apartment or something, he's like, "Oh, don't get comfortable, like it's gonna end soon" or something like that.
So
Yeah,
like I mean, and like I said, like in the earlier chapters, like all of the adults stopped being mindless zombies.
yeah,
Because he is now one of them. So
yeah,
like
yeah. That did happen. In fact, like some of his friends and the people around him are a little weird, like that guy or
yeah.
Sachi's sister. Like they're the only ones that are kind of weird.
Like
But
little
yeah,
Poon
the
Poon
adults
growing
aren't.
up.
Yeah, he is. It definitely feels like he's changed a lot. If you think about where he was at the beginning of the story as a kid, and like how
As expected. Yeah, and the
he's
fact that he
now.
also talks for himself more than the narrator is also
Yeah,
interesting. Like, well, he only talks in terms of Sachi. Like, everything else, like, he kind of goes back to, like, people just, controlling the conversation more.
yeah,
But, it was interesting to also see that one friend of his, the, high school friend, or halfway through college friend, whatever, when he was talking about how, like, tough of a shell, like,
Memora.
yeah, like how tough of a shell like Poon Poon looked on the outside. He's like, oh wow, I just have
Yeah,
more confidence or something. I
yeah.
don't
He was saying
know.
how cool he looks and stuff. Like
Yeah,
how he
and then
just
like
seems.
I think it was so funny. Like everyone else always thinks Poon Poon's like this virgin, like like kind of like awkward guy, like or too cool for them. It's like really interesting. Like everyone kind of like gets this different vibe from him.
Yeah, I thought it was like in the other volume when he was like younger, when he was like 16 or something. And, like a lot of people seem to think he was like shy and like this virgin. And
I still think that though. They're like, you're a virgin. I see it. I'm like, bro,
oh yeah,
chill.
yeah. I feel like more in this one though, since he's so like distant from people, like it came across like this cool, affected kind of thing. Like he just doesn't talk much. Like he's a strong silent type or something. I think that's kind of what that guy was saying. But I mean, Pum Pum doesn't talk to that many people, so it's hard to tell if like people just see him differently, or if it's like also
Poon
that
Poon,
could just be so that you can project whatever personality you
you
see
want
him as being to. Yeah,
true. I also like Poon Poon's pretty like blunt with like some of the things he says. Like
I
when
took
he
that as
says,
awkwardness. Yeah.
yeah, when in the terms of like he was like, I want to live alone. And when he like when after she like tells him to die, he's like, I think I'm gonna leave. Like, I don't think I'm gonna do it. Like, let's be real, I'm not gonna write this manga. And like how
Yeah.
like cocky she was, like, he's like, yeah, you will. She's like, here's my number. He's like, I'm not gonna write it. And she's like,
Yeah.
bye. And he's like, I'm not gonna write it. And then the next
So
day he
that
like writes it.
that was cute. Yeah, that was cute. See,
She's like,
I could relate to that. Like I would do something like that. But I thought it was like funny when he says like the thing about like he hasn't masturbated in like 3 years or something like that.
yo, I was like,
I was like, what? She says, "Be honest," and then you just say, "What do you feel?" And he's like, "I haven't masturbated in 3 years," and she's like,
he
"Not
got
that
so
honest." Like, what are you talking about?
he
He's
gets
like,
too detailed. She's like, back up, back up.
yeah, I think she starts laughing or something. She's like, "Yeah,
That was so odd. He's an
you're a weird
awkward
guy." Or something.
individual.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah, I think she's the one. I mean, I also took that as like I think he comes across distant from people, but she sees it more as like the genuine awkwardness that it is instead of like him being like strong and like cold or whatever. Because she kept calling him out on like I know you just like you're not comfortable around people. Just say what you feel. Stop like hiding and stuff like that. So she seemed to have like the best understanding of like how he
yeah,
actually is.
she does, bro. She does. That's what I'm saying. Like OTP. Like, and I'm looking at these pages, and I'm just staring at how like creepy like Poom Poom's arms look like. Like, you know, like, when it was
Yeah,
just his
out of the
arms in the
triangle.
pyramid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Some people like I saw a theory recently, because what the triangle represents is a mystery to me exactly. But I saw some people taking it as like like literally a love triangle. Like that's when it started. I thought that was interesting too. Because he
Oh,
turns
you
into
think
it
that's a
right before he
hypotenuse?
yeah he turns into it right before he meets Sashi. So like some people took it to mean as like the beginning of him liking someone else besides Aiko, but
Mm.
it's really hard to tell.
I just
Um,
thought that was him closing himself from the
yeah, because
world.
he was, and then he broke
It was
out of
like,
it when he became
yeah,
himself.
yeah. When she finally like
When
yelled
she
at him,
yeah
told him he was like, he like snaps out of it. Like whatever he was feeling, like her opening up to him, like he was like, wait, come back, and he was on like
these
he was like,
faces on the triangle are hilarious. Though. All the
yo, the
faces
one face,
that
the troll face. But there's this really cute one where after you know she gets mad after she yells at the lady. There's this one where his mouth's like open. He has like this one tear, like he's shocked that he like stood up for it. It's so cute. I have them all saved on my phone.
yeah.
Like, he's like this little like pyramid like with like
Yeah,
an umbrella. It's like, bro, and he's shorter than her, right?
I have no
I
clue.
think he is,
He might be.
which is also super cute because like no, because when he turned back to Poon Poon, it was easier to see that he was like kind of like shorter. I
I
also thought
don't.
that was cute,
Yeah, he is as a bird, but I have no idea if that's like his actual height or if it's
bro. It's I in my mind it
in
is.
your mind. Yeah.
I could see Poon Poon being this really tiny dude, just like minding his own business all the
I mean,
time.
I could answer that question. I think
What,
that would
his
be a
height?
spoiler. Yeah, that would be too much of a spoiler. But yeah, it seems like his visual representation like went through a lot of changes, and there's going to be a.
It
What were you gonna say?
wait, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say his visual representation went through a lot of changes because like it was a bird consistently up until now, and this was the first appearance of the triangle, and there's gonna be a couple more phases that he goes through uh, in the next 2 volumes.
But I see that as him like almost fighting his like him finding himself, cause like you know like the bird is almost to make it easier for everyone. Like I think we
Yeah,
discussed earlier, it kind of makes you be able to put yourself in Poon Poon's shoes, and it makes him more like almost like transparent to like everyone, and he's kind of like easier to like grasp as an entity rather than like this kind of
yeah,
character you think about. And so like, but yeah, but when he switches to the statue and stuff, it's almost like you kind of like automatically like take a second to think about like why is he the statue now? Like,
it does.
When does he like you kind of want to go back to all the chapters and write down every time he turns into a statue and what situation like he turned into a statue when he was like embarrassed because he was almost like frozen still and like he didn't have anything to say. She's like pushing him out.
Yeah, and that image, like the image of the chick, like when he was a kid, you know, it kind of like it conjures like a certain attitude towards it. Like if you see a baby bird, like that's what we saw representing him when he was a kid. But like the image of like this hard, cold, like triangle like statue thing, like it brings up like a different image. Like it's a different feel.
Yeah, it made me feel more tense.
Yeah, so that'll be that's something that's gonna happen a couple more times. So
yeah,
that'll be interesting. What did you think of the manager landlord guy? That's the only other character that appeared to be.
He's definitely the most also another positive thing that
he's kind of like a father figure.
Yeah, I was about to say that. He's the most positive adult figure. You beat me to it. Fuck you.
He also appeared a couple volumes ago in the Saseki and Shimizu, remember?
Oh yeah.
He hired them to
take the body out, right?
Yeah, the same house that he moved into.
What a small world.
So it is connected in that small way.
Like yeah, I know. But I just want them to talk to people.
Yeah, I know what you mean. They kind of have overlapping stories, but not they're not interacting with each other.
The same town, but
that's so funny that guy married Sachi's fat sister. That's so funny. What did you think of those two
characters? Which characters?
Sachi's sister and Punpun's only friend.
Well, the only friend guy, he just seems like actually it brought me up.
Oh, why do you think they're there?
Like do you didn't watch Mr. Robot? But you should. There is this time where Elliot also goes through this kind of like isolation phase, and he also has that one friend that just sits there and talks a lot and you don't really pay attention to, and like they're kind of just there to like almost give you like a as like just noise in your ear, and they kind of just like it's also another like kind of like depression stopper almost, because I was that one person that kind of randomly talked to you just nonstop, who's like, oh, blah, 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 and they kind of talk more about themselves, and they can kind of carry a whole, like, conversation with themselves. Yeah. Like, I was that person for someone who, like, I knew was depressed, like, and I purposely became that person until they fixed themselves, just, like, to have someone to talk to. I mean, of course, like, these people, like, didn't know. I mean, well, what is his name? Because, like, M?
Who, Mimiru, I think?
Yeah, I don't know, but
it's Mimura.
Mimura? Yeah. He's just like that cat. That's probably the most like almost cliche thing I've seen Punpun, just having like a casual person like, oh, just like he's almost as like average and kind of like basic as like his life was being at the moment, like just like this repetitive thing, this kind of casual friend, like I don't know.
It also kind of illustrates it makes it more pronounced how like quiet Punpun is being now, because he's with someone who talks a lot and he's so like distant and quiet and just like not talking much, so it kind of emphasizes that a lot. What did you think of what did you think of the stuff with Yuichi in the last line, since we didn't really talk about that, with him being depressed because people like forgive him too easily and all that stuff?
Because he what?
Like he has a speech, remember, when he leaves his family, about how like he feels bad about the things he did, but he also feels so bad because he knows the people who care about him are willing to forgive him and put up with him. And he was like, it's when he's at the ocean and he like really left for cheating and all that. Like, what did you think about that? Since we didn't really talk about it
I
in the
probably
last
do
book.
not remember this that well.
Yeah, he cheated on Midori, and then he ran away, and he was crying, and he was like,
and then the hit. What was it that guy in like the
taxi.
taxi?
Yeah, he was saying like, think just all you're gonna get from just staring at the ocean and thinking is a cold. Like you should go back home to your family, and I know they'll forgive you. And then he says like that's why he's depressed because like the fact that he could do so many horrible things and people will still forgive him.
I always thought Yuichi more reminded me most of you, Wesley. It was
Oh,
interesting
me?
they said Sachi, yeah.
Oh, really?
I thought you would be able to like resonate with him more.
I can to some extent, but not as. I don't agree with his like all the characters in Punpun have their own like philosophies about life that they espouse a lot, and I don't really like his is maybe the one I disagree with the most. The speech he goes on at the beginning of this book when he was like, "Reap what you sow," and like, don't make excuses for yourself about what happened to you and stuff like that. Like, I kind of agree with that, but to a certain extent, like, I don't think Punpun had a lot of control over a lot of the stuff that happened to him. So I don't know. I don't completely agree with like he's talking about like how you have complete control over your own fate and like don't make any excuses and all that stuff. And I'm just like I don't necessarily totally agree with that. But that's interesting. Why do you think I'm Yuichi? Because he's so cynical.
Nah, this is not like
he's so moody. No,
I don't even know why he reminds me most of you.
Yeah.
Or like why I think you'd resonate. Not that he reminds me of you. Yeah. I don't know. It's just that like kind of like the way he like kind of sits there and just kind of like reflects on himself so much is what reminds me. Yeah. Not exactly what he does. It's like this is like a Wesley. It's like smoking like on the top of the rooftops. Like
I could see that. I don't I can't relate to self-loathing a lot though. Like I just until recently I just never would just like be like, oh man, I hate myself so much. Why do I like until recently? Yeah, I never was just like, why am I doing these things until very recently? Until this year. I was like optimistic. I was like, I'm making the right choices. Like, yeah, I'm a good guy, right? You wouldn't like Wesley. All good vibes only. But yeah.
That's funny.
Things have changed, but but yeah, I don't know. I had a friend, like my closest friend was my ex best friend actually like reminded me of Sachi a lot too, and we had like a similar relationship, not with like the hooking up or whatever, but just like spending like we hung out with like just each other most of the time we hung out, so it like when you just hang out with one person and you're not in a group of friends, like it just feels like super intimate. Like
it does.
Your relationship when it's just the two of you. Like it does kind of create that feeling. Like even if you go to like parties and you're the only two people that know each other there all the time, you go out to restaurants together all the time, just the two of you, it starts to feel like this really, really intimate relationship that other people are kind of like the rest of the world is kind of separate from you. And that's what I felt like this book, like it created that feeling of like it's Sachi and Punpun, and then there's the rest of the world around
them. Yeah, it was the most focused we've ever been to.
Yeah.
Cause I was waiting for something to interrupt it and didn't, and I was like, oh shit, like.
Yeah, like I said, man, this really was like very, very focused on that character. He did a good job making her an endearing character because it wouldn't have worked if she was like a really unlikable character. There's so much focus on her.
Yeah, then you just wanted to like throw the book away, but I liked her a lot, and she was interesting. Like she wasn't like a flat like, just like she was just everything Punpun needs.
Yeah, I also thought it was a good choice to not do the traditional like flashbacks of her, like we did with the dad, or like that One Piece style, like oh this is how Sachi is, and like let's show flashbacks of her getting plastic surgery. Like you learn about her.
She tells you just like you would in real life. Like,
you learn about her through either her sister or her like as Punpun's learning the things. That's when you get the information. Like you only have as much information about her as Poon Poon has.
But that's how it should be with Poon Poon though, because
Yeah.
like we are like
Seeing it through his eyes, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
not
So,
knowing.
so that was really interesting. You only have the information he has. So like when she said something like I got plastic surgery, it had a huge impact on you. Like whoa, because there were no hints at it up until that point. Like when
Yeah, I was shook. I literally sat there. I was choked. I thought that something like because it was the end of the chapter. So I automatically flipped to the next page. I was like, yeah.
yeah,
She started dropping bombs. I was like, no.
you're like what?
I was like, what is she gonna say next?
Yeah,
And Poon Poon
but
too, like also responded like the same, like frantic
yeah,
as
he
I
was
would
shook.
have. Like
Like what?
he
But
came out of the box, bro. He got out of
yeah.
the fucking box.
But yeah, and then there's a couple like there's that one chapter where they just show where it's no dialogue too, and after her birthday when they're celebrating her birthday, and then like he's in her bedroom and he surprises her with like a watch as her present, and she sees it, and then she's like no, like she like you can understand what's going on without the dialogue, and she's like no, like it's too expensive, and she reaches for her wallet to pay him for it, and then he's like no, and then they show like a close up of her kind of like shyly smiling, but it was like a thoughtful thing, and like he captured that like so well, like a moment like that, because that's like a really
So
yeah
just like a recent video
yeah
posted on YouTube.
yeah he captured that feeling of her like kind of like accepting it but kind of being overwhelmed by like that present, and then that's when she starts drawing the pictures of him and all that stuff. Like drawing a picture of someone, a portrait is like a really intimate thing too, and I guess he was like yeah
Interesting.
it was really sweet and really interesting. Do you think it was a good choice to show Poon Poon's face?
Um,
Somewhat like that. It's not totally
honest,
revealed, but
it's not totally revealed. It makes me feel like they're going to reveal it more later of some sorts.
yeah,
But I find it interesting that he kind of I liked the way it was done.
yeah,
Like it was just wasn't on him. Like he's kind of staring at it and he has a conversation. It was for a purpose. It was
yeah,
so that he could actually have a conversation with himself and for him to be like, "Look at you, you're pathetic." I was like, "Bro."
yeah.
Like
It's
they
like,
wouldn't let me fully enjoy it in the moment, like, intake it. I was like, ugh.
yeah. Oh, were you like really excited? Like that's his face. Like,
Yeah, because when she started drawing it, I was like, bro,
yeah,
are we gonna see it? I was like, are we gonna
yeah.
see it?
Yeah. Yeah, because I like when that happened, I was like, oh, like that. That's really it's really exciting to see like how he looks. Like, oh, that's his hair and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like it changes things because now you're not Poon Poon. Like you see how he looks.
Yeah, I mean,
But if you go by Kevin's theory, like his interpretation of the series, then it could be like as Poon Poon is like more of him is revealed, like more of his personality is like becoming
like,
distinctive. Yeah, it's becoming
yeah,
like his own person and not like this blank sort of canvas of a person that's
yeah.
decided by the people around him. If you agree with Kevin's interpretation,
I really like Kevin's theory.
yeah, I
I
think it's
want.
interesting.
Kevin
Yeah,
got mad that he said I didn't want him here. I almost said, Kevin, you can join too. But I was like, you know what,
yeah,
Kevin, you can bathe in salt for just one more.
yeah. maybe the next one or something. But
Yeah, he can come in for the next
yeah,
one.
we'll see. But
Oh, there was one. There was one. Um, actually, his
page
god does show
chapter.
up once, right? It's like this. It's in the cabinet or something. I recall it.
There's a what?
Um, when his god appears. But it's like it was just
Like I
really.
said, there's one panel where he yells at him about the Sashi thing. He says like, "Oh,
No, there's like
his face."
another. Yeah, it's like it's like shit. I should have
Do you
taken
know
a
what part it's
screenshot of it.
at? I'm
I
skimming through the book right
I
now.
don't know,
It's
but I know
around.
it's when he's talking to Sachi, and um, I know it's like at the bottom, like left hand corner of the screen, and I know it's like she's like talking to him in the covers, and it's like more focused on her thighs, and like while I turned the page, I just see his face. It was really disturbing. I stared at it for a while, like, okay. I think I was in a dark room and just creeped me out a lot. I was like back up. Oh man, I'm
I
so
think I see
sorry.
the one where they're in the bar. I kind of see
No,
it.
not in the
But,
bar. This is when they're in like her room or something.
yeah, there's a lot of close-ups of her thighs. I don't see it yet though. But
I'll find it.
but yeah. So I mean, Sachi, a great character in manga. The savior of Pum Pum. What do you think is gonna happen next?
Like I
Exactly.
said, Aiko's
Do
gonna
you think
fuck
he's gonna
up.
dump Aiko? Make a decision. Let's see. Let's see if you're right or wrong. Is he
Is he
gonna dump
gonna?
Aiko? Is Aiko gonna? I mean, is he gonna dump Sachi for Aiko? Is he gonna rape Sachi? What's gonna happen? Place your
Okay.
bets officially on one prediction, and let's see if it comes true.
He's going to. I think he's gonna. I think he's initially going to fight it. All right. I think he's initially going to fight the urge to go back to Aiko because I think at this point, if he's when he's buying her shit and she's getting him pictures and drawing shit, I think he's aware of his happiness. So I don't think he's gonna automatically throw everything away. However, I do not think Poon Poon will be strong enough to hold on to his I don't think he's gonna be strong enough. If she's the longer she stays, the more him and Sachi are just gonna be through. All right, I don't think it's gonna be an initial. I he's definitely going at the end of the day. Like him and Sachi are done. All right, that's the only thing I know. I don't know how immediate
Yeah.
it's going to be, but definitely the more Aiko panels there are in Poon Poon in the same room, the higher the percentage. Like it goes up like 5% chance every
Yeah.
panel. Like they're next to each other. Okay, like the breakup. But I do agree. I do think that him and Sashi will be broken up. I do think that there's a possibility that who knows, maybe in a few years if Aiko once again leaves, he'll be gone again. But I definitely think the Aiko phase the Aiko fever. Like Asian fever, there's a specific fever that Poon Poon
Yellow.
has. Yeah, the yellow fever.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
Aiko
boy.
fever. It definitely will prevail for at least a good book. I don't know if it'll
Is
stay,
this
but
is this how? Well, there's only
yeah, I
two
know.
American ones, but is this how you expected the Aiko Pum Pum relationship to progress when it started? Like in the first couple of chapters?
I don't
Is
fucking
this?
know, man.
Were you rooting for it back then when they were kids? Were you rooting for them to like get
No, I feel like
together?
when they were
Hmm.
really young kids, but by
Yeah.
middle school, I already like they're unhealthy. Like during the whole um
Yaguchi thing?
yeah, Gucci. Yeah, I was like, no. I'm like, you need to go. um, yeah. So my Aiko hype was like gone pretty quick.
By then? Yeah.
Yeah. I automatically knew I liked Sachi like 10 times more. Um,
Immediately? Or like by then? Yeah.
yeah. Like, I told you once she didn't freak out about the pubic hair comment, she was the one. She was the one. Like there was nothing in my brain. I was like, yes, yes, yes.
All right. This is are we gonna are you gonna finish the series soon? Or like what?
I
How
can
are we
keep
gonna do the
reading
rest
it.
of it?
I can keep reading it as long
Were
as
these volume were these chapters interesting to you, or are you still like invested in the series? Or
I'm still fully invested into the series. It's Poon Poon.
favorite characters so far? You read like
Sachi
70,
or Poon
eight.
Poon for
Really
sure. Yeah,
interesting.
but then again, I'm biased as fuck right now. So like, I
Yo,
need to
yeah,
like,
because this was like the the Sachi story pretty much. Like
yeah, I need to calm
these
myself down
chapters.
just a bit before I re give you that answer. But I don't. I mean, also okay. So I think Poon Poon's still like my number one favorite.
Yeah.
It's usually rare for me to like the favorite character.
Andre's favorite character, either Uncle Yuichi or Sachi as well.
Yeah, I
I think
think
he said he thinks Sachi might is probably his
nah. Poon Poon's one,
favorite.
Sachi's two, Uncle Yuichi's three, and then four is definitely Saiki or whatever his name is.
You know, Seki,
Yeah,
the cool guy.
Seki.
The cool
Seki's
guy.
number 4. Only because his story is so separate that it's just refreshing at times. And that gives
To get a
me his
break
own.
from
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not the fact that it's a break, but since it's his own separate entity, it's like I need to acknowledge it. I need to like
Yeah.
just yeah. But Yuichi is also actually yeah. Yuichi was probably my favorite until like Sachi came, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
I don't
Yuichi
know.
will come back and just be
Sachi is
awesome.
probably my favorite character just in manga in general. Like once she was introduced, I was like, oh my god, I love this character so much. Like I was angry from that point on whenever I saw Aiko. Like when Aiko came back into the story, I was just like, oh no. Like I felt dread. Like I've
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
felt
I saw
dread.
her
I wasn't
face is
happy. I
always
was
so
like,
expressionless. Like
yeah. It was like a
she's
ghost wandering into his life.
yeah.
I was just like, no.
I'm not gonna like it.
Hmm.
I don't think I'm gonna appreciate her being back at all. I feel like she's gonna fuck everything up.
But yeah, Kevin didn't like her because he felt like I'm not gonna spoil anything, but at this point he felt like it was uncomfortable to watch someone like someone that much. Like he said it felt like he was just like destroying himself over this one girl, and he's like that was so depressing and uncomfortable to read about. And I guess because it's relatable to like someone that much, and for it not to be like a positive thing, like he
I
was just like.
know. We
Exactly. That's what I said to Kevin. I was like, because it's relatable. Yeah, man. Everybody happens to some people, you know. Everyone sometimes. But yeah. So this is really interesting, and yeah, this kind of like is it a love story? I guess between Pum Pum and Aiko. It is. It's
I
not
don't
a. It's
as
not a
much as
type of story that I've seen depicted in a romance or whatever before.
I
Because it's
don't I would not label this series a romance.
really. You don't think
No.
there's romance in
I mean evidently yes.
it?
However, I don't think that's like the number one label.
What would
I
you
really
label it?
feel I don't know, it's like a slice of life or something. Like it's just focused as much as romance is involved in it, it's still just about Poon Poon. It's just about Poon Poon's story, and as like a lot of our
The
lives go, like
yeah,
romance is a huge topic, but I don't think that's what
the
the controlling subject.
driving factor of Pinkman's life is his love for Ico. That's what I
I
say.
know, but
It's like the center of the universe.
it is. But I just
It's not a happy romance. No, I see what you're saying. I'm just saying like if this is a romance, it is not a
this
type
is
of
like
romance that you often see depicted. And
well, of course not. This is
like,
more like a it's like a love story gone wrong. Like someone like was
yeah,
like writing this really nice love story and they accidentally like spilt their ink all over it.
yeah. That's why I felt like I feel like this is very uh, relatable, man. That's what makes it more relatable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, whoever did, yeah. I mean, he obviously like knew what he was doing. Definitely like the realistic of it is why it's so attractive to me. Um, what I think a lot of people like. I think people are usually thrown off like, oh, if the bird eat you, like automatically just don't touch
Yeah.
it. But I'm like, if you actually sat here and just like read it, like, bro, this is life. Like, Poon Poon's like I don't think I've seen any series even like remotely as like realistic. So
So we'll end it after this, but I saw a lot of issues people have with reading this, at least on Tumblr, which is where I saw the series the first time. Uh,
Tumblr.
Aiko was actually incredibly popular on Tumblr when the series was coming out. She was incredibly popular. Um, now
Tumblr.
it's more like divided, and I think more people like Sachi, but um, there was a lot of anger which I didn't understand at Poon Poon. Like a lot of people had issues with the decisions he made. Um, maybe that's in the next couple volumes is maybe the reason, but throughout the whole story, like people just said they didn't like some people. I think the majority of people just found him relatable and they understood, but some people were just like frustrated at decisions he was making and things he was doing. Do you, do you like how did you feel about the things Pum Pum was doing in the story?
I mean, to those people, I like to say that when they, I think once again, I think Poom Poom's like literally like relatable to almost everyone to a certain extent, and some people just do not react lightly to when they see themselves in a mirror.
That's true. That's very true.
I
I know someone who said that too.
Yeah, when you see how like some people either accept it and kind of like take the time to like reflect on themselves, and some people just instantly get like, ew, like how dare you do this, even though they like, if you ask them like, have you ever done this, they'll say yes, and it's like, okay, but why do you hate them? They'll just say, I don't know, like they don't like themselves, like just like Sachi like chose to like almost like help Poom Poom, but there are other people who just like see Poom Poom like, ooh, you're like a reflection of my old self, like fuck you, like go away, I don't even want to meet you. That's how I see to that, because like honestly though, I don't think
that's why I said I
any of
relate to
Poom Poom's,
Sashi.
there are no,
She wasn't as
she,
judgmental about what he like the way he
yeah,
felt, and some people, especially in fiction, I think some people don't like too much realism because they're used to seeing like a super perfect version of a person, and Poon Poon is like very
yeah,
flawed. That's why he's
he's
relatable because he's very very
yeah,
flawed.
and I don't think there's any super decision or think Poom Poom's
So
done
far.
so far that I have been, that it
Yeah,
has been like automatically like unattractive or
yeah,
unappealing
because
to me. I'm sure
nah.
he's about to fuck up a lot, like
Oh
I told you.
yes, there's going to be.
He's gonna
It
fuck
gets.
up.
Yeah, some things happen.
He's definitely going to fuck up. But I
There's a
as of
certain
now,
chapter.
I
There's
know,
a
man.
famous chapter, but
No.
but
Goodbye,
but
Sachi.
but yeah, I think that's part of the reason. But I don't know, man. It's a lot of people. I think it's just flaws in themselves, or just flawed characters in general. Some people just can't uh, have sympathy for it, I guess. And even the Ico obsession, it's frustrating, but it's frustrating in a way where like I couldn't. I'm not angry at the character for doing it because it's something that a
Yeah,
human
it's
being will do. It's
yeah.
understandable. It's just very
It's like,
understandable.
ew, like why are you doing this? But I'm not angry at him. It's like I understand, bro. It's like you kind of like sit there and pat
Why?
him on the back.
Why do you think Putin's so obsessed with Ico?
Um, I mean, like I said, like I think you, when you're like depressed and stuff, initially I think at first it was just like a little crush, but I think it's honestly like probably like because at
He's
this point
escaping his life through
yeah, it's like
Ico
yeah,
because
it's
he has
like what
all that
people
bad stuff
do
going on in
with
his
like
family and
anime
all
and
that.
manga. It's like his escape zone is her, and he always sees, and he at this point, especially the more he doesn't see her, the, you know, like how like when Ronnie came back, it's like, oh, you'll kind of only remember the good things that he's done and you just miss him more. And then it's like, okay,
And
she's
then
this
once he's back
girl,
long enough, you just
I still love Ronnie, he's gay.
yeah.
um but yeah, it's like this is, the happiness is just there, and he just remembers, she is like his symbol of like the good times and how they used to be, and he keeps wanting to go back to it, even though like how much he's changed and how much has gone in his life,
Oh
especially
boy.
second his like mom died, like he automatically went back to like missing her to this extreme extent. Like before he was slowly starting to like shift and move on to like other girls, the second something bad happened again, he like ran back to like his happiest like days, in which is represented by Ayako, like a single human being. And I think like every time something bad happens, he's definitely always gonna run back to her.
Oh boy.
And I think that's gonna be like the most reoccurring
Awkward.
fuckiest thing.
But
I
but
do.
yeah. I remember there was another story I read that was where they kind of like talked about that a little bit. It was almost a similar story, but it was like it was talking about how like they brought up the idea that when you like someone that much and when you like love them and you're like obsessed with them, it's maybe more what they represent than the actual person. And so I do think it is like you said, like a lot of what she represents, which is like the
Yeah,
this
I
like
don't think it's about her. I don't think. I
yeah
think after a while, it stopped being about her. It's just the memory of happier days.
yeah, because I mean that was he met her when he was like a kid, when his mom was still alive and his dad was still living with him and all that. So
Yeah, it
and
was
she
the
was like
happiest time. Now it's Sachi.
his very first kiss with a girl, and his life was much simpler. He had all those friends and everything. Now he's kind of like you know
If I get
very
her back,
depressed.
maybe I
I
can get
was
the rest back.
yeah
Something like that.
I think he just thinks if he's with her he'll be a
Happy.
much happier person than he is now.
But he has Sachi now, so you
I
can't be thinking that.
I was really surprised when I reread this because I knew the Sachi thing was coming and I was like anticipating it a lot. I was like, I can't wait till they introduce Sachi in the English volumes. And when I was surprised rereading it how quickly like he started to like her. Like I remembered it being like much more like I just thought he would be reluctant rereading the story, but he fell for her fairly quickly, like just being around her. Like he was interested pretty quickly considering how obsessed he was with Aiko like right before
Monkey
that.
bars, man, monkey bars.
Yeah.
Second,
Yeah.
another happier memory came. He clinged on to it.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah. She's gonna be featured in the next couple chapters pretty heavily too, so as long as she's but yeah, so I guess that's it. Interesting. Pun Pun, this is the volume where Pun Pun's life it seems to be going well. Things are going well for Pun Pun, as the
For
narrator
now.
would say. As the narrator would say, Pun Pun's happy, and
Happy life for Poon Poon.
we're gonna see what happens with that cult and Seki.
Oh God, something
Yeah.
I don't want to think about what's gonna happen with them.
Um, a lot of happy things. Obviously, this is a happy series, and Pun Pun's gonna be very happy in the future. Maybe it'll all work out for him. All right. All right. I think we're going to end it there. Thank you, Mariah. And I'm excited to see your reaction to the giant plot twist that is going up in the next
About to
one.
read it tonight.
Are you really? I want
Oh
to
wait,
find.
it's like 1 o'clock, but
Yeah,
probably
it's really late.
tomorrow.
Are you just going to read the rest of the series now?
Yeah, I don't have anyone else to wait for,
That's
Wesley.
true. Yeah, that's true. Oh man, Edosa doesn't know what he's missing. See, Nuna has the volumes, so like she's eventually gonna read it. But Edosa, I don't think he's even bought the third volume yet, and he's not gonna read it online. So that sucks. Maybe one
Is he
day.
not?
I think he just stopped out of laziness. Like, I think he just stopped reading. And he's
Hashtag
no, he
fuckboy?
refused. He told me that he was gonna read the volumes online, and then he told me later on he tried to, but he stopped. And I offered to buy him the volume, but he's like, no, no. He kept saying he was gonna get it himself and read it, and then we kept waiting, and he just didn't do it. But it is what it
Really?
is.
Fucking Dosa?
Yeah. The things that could have been. My dream of all four of us reviewing a Pum Pum volume. It may never come true, like Pum Pum's dream of marrying Aiko. Hopefully, one day we need to replace him with two other people. The way Pum Pum replaced
Kevin Andre?
Aiko with Sachi.
Yeah, Kevin and Andre and us, we need a full review. Just saying.
Yeah, of the whole series.
Yeah.
Once you finish the whole series, yeah, we should do a big group one. I think Shakir said he might read it too. Shakir read A Girl on the Shore. After
Yo,
he
read
watched
Poo Pooty?
he read he read the other series by the author when he
Yeah.
watched the review me Edo and Nuna did of it, and then he read it after that because he wanted to know what we were talking about. So he would read something.
We should get him to read it. Just
That'd
one
be
Poon
funny to
Poon
see
person at a
Shakir reaction.
time.
Yeah, everyone's reading it this year. It's a craze.
It's the only good thing that came out of 216, reading Poon Poon.
Yeah. Yeah, reading this is kind of awkward. The parallels and certain things that happen, but
Yeah,
I just couldn't in.
true.
I'm gonna end.
I've been doing that too. Just saying.
Yeah.